Good day, everyone. Our next slot regarding the topic the current job market outlook for fresh graduates by a representative from Job Street will start very soon. A reminder to all of you, please ensure that your microphone is muted and your video is off throughout this sharing session. If you have any questions for the speaker, you may unmute your mic or simply type your question in the Slido link that we will provide at the chat box. Your full cooperation is needed. Thank you. Before we officially begin our sharing session, I would like to request everyone to turn on your camera for the photo session. Thank you.
Okay, everyone's ready. Okay, one, two, three. One more time. One, two, three. Okay, thank you.
Thank you everyone for your cooperation. Now you may switch off your camera. A very warm welcome I bid to Mr. Kelvin Chan. Thank you for being with us today for your slot, the current job market outlook for fresh graduates. For your information, Mr. Kelvin is the employability and social media lead for JobStreet. Mr. Kelvin looks after campus and social media marketing in JobStreet. Besides strategizing content on social media, he also looks at upskilling and training students to be employable using jobstreet.com's platform. Therefore, I hope that all eNAPSIS 2020 participants will be able to focus on our topic today to get some ideas about the current situation of job market for the fresh graduates. Now, without further delay, I will pass the floor to Mr. Kelvin to begin his sharing session.
All right, thanks so much. I hope everybody can hear me. Please let me know if you cannot hear me. Yeah. So first of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to the organizing committee of eNAPSIS for allowing me this opportunity to speak with all of you. And so yes, a quick introduction about myself. Yes, I'm part of JobStreet's marketing team, employability and social media marketing lead. So the title sounds complex, and that is sort of the reality of today's organizations. Titles can be very, very complex, but essentially, just to make it simple for all of you all, my role here is actually to look after campus students like yourselves, and helping you guys reach to get your career opportunity at the end of the day, right? So I'm here to assist you. So if you do have any questions, please leave them down below at the chat section, right? Or I think there's a Slido code. Yes, there is a Slido code. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to answering some of your questions. But first, I'm going to share with you today about what is our job market like today, after COVID hit us and whatnot. And of course, it's going to be related to fresh graduates for all of you all, right? So I mean, we have a lot of data. We run a lot of surveys on a yearly basis, if you do not know. The data, of course, is spread across all candidates, but of course, today I'm going to narrow it down for fresh graduates. Now, before I start, how many of you here has, knows about JobStreet before this? Can I get a quick response? Anyone knows JobStreet, or anyone do not know about JobStreet? Can I get some response? Maybe just type it out in the chat below, just a yes or a no. Okay, cool. All right, nice. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. That's good. That's good. Thank you so much. So if you have known about JobStreet, you would also have realized, or maybe some of you have realized, that we have completely changed our colors. So before this, it was a very prominent yellow and blue, and we've basically switched it, and this is our new color scheme. We've got new clothes to represent the colors as well. So yeah, so we've completely changed the brand, and with these brand changes, we're actually really excited to share with you what are some of the new things that you can look out for, right? So I'll just quickly proceed with that said, right? So for the job market post COVID-19, so of course, with the pandemic hitting, not only candidates like you and I are affected, but also economy is also, employers out there, jobs have been severely reduced. So, but what do we know today about the job market, right? So first up, of course, job search is going to be different from now on, right? Whatever that you know of, or whatever that we have all studied about and learned about in terms of going for interviews, job hunting and whatnot, it's going to change, right? Next up is the job roles. So job roles have drastically changed as well. And of course, some of the roles might not even be relevant anymore because companies out there are looking to just prioritize essential roles, right? So now is a time of survival. Any companies who can survive right now would be taking their business to the next stage. So that's why they're only looking to prioritize essential roles. And of course, with the current market changes, a bit more, some companies have different kind of demands that popped up. And of course, with these new demands, new roles are emerging as well. So I'm going to take you through some of the statistics that are happening today in the world, just for a quick sharing for all of you all. So 87% of our candidates that we have surveyed back in August 2020 has experienced changes brought by the pandemic. So what are some of these changes? It's scope of work, like I mentioned earlier. Companies are prioritizing, some of the more important tasks. So sometimes some people have faced increased scope of work because of that, and some people have faced reduced scope of work. So why did that happen is because some roles, not everything can be done. So for example, like myself, before this, I was actively going to universities giving talks, but all of a sudden, all of that has to change, and then I have to move on to doing online. And when doing online, we got a lot more things to prepare for. We have to research on a lot more platforms that we can utilize. So that is a change of scope of work, right? Next up, salaries. Of course, some people have salary cuts and whatnot. That is really unfortunate. So these are some of the changes that have been affected, that have been brought by the COVID-19 pandemic. Next up is that 69%, sorry, of the people that we have surveyed was happy previously before the pandemic hit, but now only 42% of people are happy with their current jobs. So as you can see, a lot of people are unhappy, but those who are unhappy and are still currently working, they are now more afraid to move because of the uncertainty. So it caused a lot of change in the whole job market, right? And 29% of all job candidates were actually impacted by COVID-19 in one way or another. And this is the most scary part of all. 18% are actually permanently retrenched, and 11% temporarily not working. And these are industries that are really heavily affected. Is tourism, or travel industry, hospitality, F&B, and retail, right? But of course, not everything is loom and gloom, right? And things are starting to recover since MCO, since our government has actually lifted MCO, moved on to CMCO and RMCO. Unfortunately, now he has moved back to CMCO, but of course, a lot of precautions are done to ensure that the economy continues to move, right? But with that said, we have also extended the survey to our hirers, and we found that actually 90% of our hirers have actually hired in the last 6 months. And out of this pool of people, 74% of them are expecting to hire in the next 6 months. So jobs are still available, and of course, we, as seen, we have an increase of 50% of job ads on our platform since MCO, right? And of course, we've also experienced growth in traffic and applications. That just shows that, companies are continuing to hire, they're not slowing down, and so on, right? And the good thing here is that 71% of employers say that they do not factor in COVID-19 retrenchment as part of their assessment to candidates. So of course, this is not so much relevant to you guys, because I'm assuming that this is going to be your first jobs, right? So, but still, this is actually a really good sign, because most of the hirers out there are in on this. Everybody is just working to try and provide jobs to one another. So I think it's a good sign, right? And of course, industries that have recovered the most since MCO is IT field, manufacturing, call center. There are a few other to list, but of course I just kept it short. But other industries such as the e-commerce, digital marketing industry is really booming right now, as you can already imagine. So with all these challenges, of course, there are also opportunities to be looked at, right, at the end of the day. So with this pandemic, businesses are actually looking to find out how to reach out to their customers in a different way, right? And they have to do it quick. They have to do it overnight. And if not, they won't be surviving. All right, so we found out that a recent survey actually showed that COVID-19 actually accelerated the digital transformation of quite a lot of companies by an average of 6 to 7 years. And that's a lot. And you can see, I mean, I'm not sure if how many of you have actually gone out recently. Of course, they do encourage you to stay home, but with all these SOP in place, if you go to restaurants, you will start seeing people, or rather restaurants, are now serving e-menu, meaning you got to go in there, scan the QR code, and check on their menu through your phone, right? And businesses like used to have brick and mortar shops, like retail outlets, they are now moving towards online. So platforms like Lazada and Shopee and Zalora, even, they're really thriving right now, because everybody is just moved towards the online scene, right? So what does all of this tell us? Number one, of course, emergence of new roles, right? So with all these new platforms being introduced, new roles being introduced, of course, there will be a change in job functions, right? So when you go into a particular role right now, right, you won't be seeing it as the same as what you did before. So job change job function change in job functions is actually very, very normal now. So maybe someone who is a customer service might suddenly need to, for example, look after social media, right? Because that is where all the customers are going to right now, on social media, and they will have to take care of it, right? And of course, remote working. So I've just only explained to the organizing committee earlier that actually for Job Street, we have been working from home since March. So it's kind of a norm right now, and a lot of companies are now also forced to do that. And like what we're doing right now, we're meeting over Zoom, we're meeting virtually. So that is something that it's going to happen, right? And it's definitely an opportunity, because I would say it's an opportunity, because you get a lot more time, during the day, because you spend less time traveling. Actually, if you look at it, traveling to and from work takes up a lot of time. So with that reduced, you can actually be more productive. You can be actually more, do more stuff. And of course, last but not least, there's an opportunity to upskill right now. So everything has gone digital. So I would really urge students like yourselves to really pick out a skill that you think would benefit you in the future, in your career search next time. What are some of the skills that you can think of that would, sort of help you in whatever roles that will come by? So for me, I was actually very, very lucky because I got into digital marketing field for the last 6 years ago. So that was when it was starting to boom. And of course, with this pandemic as well, so things are suddenly accelerated much greater. So with skills like that, it really helps organizations grow. It really helps organizations still stay connected with their customers, and that's most important, right? And by no means I'm not saying like other roles are less relevant right now. It's just that in times like this, we have to see what sort of skills that are transferable or that can complement whatever skills that you have or you are planning to take up in the future, right? So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it down in Slido. I believe the Slido code is still there in the chat section, right? So yeah, so we'll get to the answers later on, right? So moving on. Okay, so really positive outlook for fresh graduates right now is that when we surveyed some of these hirers, as I mentioned earlier, 65% of them actually say that the roles offered in the next 6 months would be of junior or entry level positions. So it's a really good time for you guys to be going out there and looking for a job. But of course, I have to give a bit of a caveat here, a bit of a caution here. It's not going to be for all roles, right? It's going to be for a lot of these roles that are emerging, but there would be roles that are going to be difficult to find a job. For example, I'm not sure how many of you here are going to be in hospitality management. So that's something that, it's probably not going to come about anytime soon, because I mean, the whole industry is suffering, airlines, travel, hospitality, all these are really suffering. So probably not those industries, but then again, I would say now is your time to look at it in a different way. What sort of skills that you have that can be transferred to another field, another sector. So take me as an example. So I was actually a graduate of hospitality management, right? So I do have a degree in hospitality management, but of course, when I graduated, I thought, maybe working in a hotel is not something for me. So I've actually went out and did, I got into a marketing field right away. So that is how you can actually explore other industries, and when things finally clear up, when the pandemic is over, hopefully it'll be soon, then you can start looking back at what are some of the roles that you are truly interested in. And again, I urge you to start building your foundation towards that. So what I mean is that you can work in other fields in the meantime to build up your skill set, to build up your experience. And when the situation actually allows it, you can actually jump back into that industry that you're really passionate about with those skills that you have acquired to be transferable. So you have to be smart to look at things in a different way, right? So with that, right, this is the checklist that I would like you to note down, right? So what are some of the areas that you can look at when you're searching for a job today? So first up, equip yourself with information on what are some of the wider opportunities you should be considering. So like I mentioned earlier, if you look at one industry and you see that you don't have an opportunity there, widen your search, right? But be well equipped, be well informed on what you can do over there, what are some of your learning opportunities that you can have in that industry. Yeah, so redo your research before going into it and find out if actually that can build your career towards what you want, right? So now we're really talking about career building. So that there is a difference between finding a career and finding a job, right? So be sure, you guys are all young, you guys are all starting out, build a career, right? So next up is understanding what skills employers are actually expected in candidates today. So like I said earlier, when I brought up the example of customer service, maybe in today's situation, in today's day and age, and with the current pandemic, customer service will have to then take on social media responsibilities. So is that a skill that you currently already have? If not, there are a lot of opportunities to learn online right now, to take up some courses, to upskill yourself, so that when you apply for the job, you can go and tell the employer that you have this qualification and you are actually qualified for this role. Last but not least is to ensure that you are comfortably informed about the compensation. So a lot of fresh grad going in there, maybe they think that I'm actually lacking in experience, so maybe that's why I deserve lower salary. I really don't think so. So first up, again, back to equipping yourself with the information. You got to be smart to find out how much is that industry actually paying, and don't sell short yourself. Doesn't mean that you are a fresh grad, you do not deserve that amount of money. But then again, don't go over your heads and think, oh, I'm a fresh grad, I want to start out with 5K salary. Some industries do pay fresh grads 5K, but most industries do not, right? I'm just going to tell you up front here right now. But be sure to equip yourself with all this knowledge, right? And again, one thing, I think a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, one of the ministers actually said that, companies should look at reducing salary because people are working from home, right? And that is actually not the case, because doesn't mean you're working from home means that you're working less, right? I mean, of course, some roles are limited to what they can do when they're working from home, but then that's where you come in and be creative again. Try and find ways to take the business online, right? So again, back to this, doesn't mean that nowadays all the companies or all the jobs that you apply for requires you to work from home. Doesn't mean that the company should pay you less, right? That is definitely not going to be one of the reasons. So do look into this, right? So when I say look into some of the research that you can do, I'm going to bring up some of the things that Job Street here helps you with. So first up is career insights. So if you have not heard of this, this is your lucky day today, right? So I've just prepared this link here for you. So hang on, let me just share my whole screen. All right, you should be able to see the website. Please let me know if you can't see the website. Okay, so this is where we hang on. There's a okay, great. You can see the website. Okay, good. So this is one of the websites where you can actually come in and have a look at what are some of the salary trends in the market. Now this is again based on the research that we have conducted with tens and thousands of our candidates, right? And this is based on what the salary that they keyed in. Okay, so for example, Melvin, just now you mentioned what was the what are you studying right now? Okay, accounting, right? Okay, so the example here is already accountant. So let's see. So when we click on accountant, when we explore, right? So this is some of the most common salaries, the average salaries, right? But of course, this is spread out throughout all the years of experience. So what you want to do is go to years of experience and filter maybe 0 to 3. Right, great. So you can see that the most common salary is within this range, is about 4,004, right? So what this means is that you can actually know how much the industry is paying. So if let's say you go in to a role and the role says we are actually looking to pay you only 2,000, right? You might want to relook into it to see if it's even worth it. And here we have it split according to the state, different states in Malaysia. So of course, different states will have different salary payouts, but this is a very good gauge for you to have a look and see if some of these numbers actually do make sense. So again, these are done based on surveys that we have conducted throughout the years. So with the pandemic right now, things might change, salaries might be lower, might be higher, it depends, but still you get a really good estimation on where the salary scale is for, let's say, for an accountant, right? Yeah. So, all right, so back to the slides. Okay, so next up, one biggest mistake that I've always seen and I'm always telling all my students is to keep your Dropship profile updated. So what I say is, why is it so important? Is because if you do not know, today I'm letting you in on a sharing. Our employers use our Dropship profile sort of like, I would say, to search for relevant candidates. So they use keywords to look for candidates. So they go onto our platform and they basically open up a search bar and click, let's say if they're looking for, let's say accounting, right? So they will key in the keyword accounting, and based on that, our system will pull out all the relevant candidates to show our hirers. And if your Dropship profile is not updated, this is where you are going to miss out, right? So depending on what your field is, you want to update it as clear as possible. Now, at first, I did thought of covering this topic on how do you actually update your profile more effectively. But I thought, this might actually take up quite a bit of time because it's actually quite lengthy. So instead, what I did is that I've managed to secure a partner called Resume Writer. So they are a group of, they are a company who helps candidates actually write resumes, professional resumes, and help them, with those resumes, it helps them get jobs, right? So we've actually managed to secure them to give a talk for you guys, and it's going to be free. So you don't want to miss this out. It's going to be happening on the 24th of November. So if you scan this QR code, if you're on your computers, take out your mobile phones right now and scan this QR code. If not, if you are on your mobile phone, maybe you want to just key in this website, bit.ly/career profile web, and it will take you to a registration page. So register, pre-book your slots because slots are limited. But this is going to be really, really informational for all of you, because they're going to teach you how to write a professional, career profile. So even if you are a fresh graduate, there are things to write in there, right? So a lot of times, like when I go to talks, and then a lot of common questions that I get is, I'm a fresh graduate, I don't have work experience, what can I put? So that is something that we want to address in this. So if you do not have work experience, what do you put then? You of course put your experience in university. What are some of the courses that you have done? How have you contributed to that role, to that project that you have done? What have you learned? So these are all very important, right? So that's why we say university is important for you, right? Because it's a gateway for you to get a career. So imagine if you're not concentrating in university and you're not contributed, you really do not have anything to write at all, right? But I believe all of you have done something meaningful in the university. So it's time that you get onto your Dropship profile and fill it up right now. So as I mentioned earlier, hirers are looking to hire fresh graduates, and there's no better time than to update your profile now, because the survey shows that they're going to be hiring within the next 6 months, and that survey was launched in August, right? So the next 6 months is going to be now. So the hottest time is actually now, right? Where end of the year, they might be seeing some recovery in their business, and then they want to start rehiring. So we know that there are industries, again, like I mentioned earlier, that are really hiring right now. So that's something that you want to quickly look at and make sure your profiles are updated, so that when they are hiring, your profile is ready, right? So you want to be standing a chance against, I don't know, on a yearly basis, I think that there's about 200 to 300,000 fresh graduates like yourselves going out into the job market. And, this is the least that you can do to ensure that you get a spot, to climb that career ladder that much faster, especially in this, pandemic times. So, yeah. So if you want to learn more about how do you update your profile, or resume professionally, be sure to register now, right? So that you reserve some slots for you for your for the webinar. Next up, we have actually launched a new mobile app. So of course, every day today we're doing is going to be on mobile. So if you look at the mobile, what is going to be beneficial is that you can actually upload your resume on your mobile phone right now and apply for jobs on the go. So whenever, wherever you are, whenever you're maybe just hanging out with your friends and whatnot, and you're just talking about careers and whatnot, and all of a sudden you just pull out your mobile phone and check, there might be a suitable role that just popped up all of a sudden, and then you can apply immediately. So again, click on this link, scan this QR code or type in this link to go and check out our new mobile app, or even just go to Play Store or Apple Store, the App Store, to just and search for Dropship Malaysia. You should be able to find the app. Again, I highly encourage all our fresh graduates to utilize this. Now, of course, it's not because I'm working in Dropship, that's why I'm promoting this. I think it's really important for everyone to be well equipped, especially right now when you're looking out for jobs among pool of other candidates. So fresh graduates, I would say you guys are in a very unique position right now, right? So right now there are a lot of what do you call this, retrenched people out there, right? And they have a few years of work experience, so they are right now out there competing with you guys. So what makes you advantageous then, right? I would say it's because you guys are fresh. It's the ability to shape you, right? So the hirers would have the ability to train and shape you into a professional one day. So that is something that I think all fresh graduates should keep in mind. So first up is always learn how to be competitive. So if you have all these tools at your disposal, use it, download it. Second one is to always keep learning, right? So I remember last time my lecturer used to keep telling us, you have to be like a sponge, right? You have to absorb as much as possible in order to grow. All right, so learn, keep absorbing, keep learning, and that's how you're going to be you're going to be excelling above other candidates. Right, so this brings me to the end of today's sharing. So I want to leave you all with this quote by Franklin Roosevelt: "A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor." So of course, times are trying right now, times are hard, but you are going to emerge from this more skilled than ever, because you all are adaptable. So I urge you to heed our advice. Look up on whatever, the internet, go on to Dropship, read a bunch of articles. We have articles there on Dropship to help you guys. So use everything at your disposal that you can to improve yourself, right? And of course, times like this will pass, and eventually you will be emerging as a skilled sailor, right? As Franklin Roosevelt mentioned. Okay, so this brings me to the end, and I'm going to open up this session right now for questions. So how are we going to do this, Melvin or Priyat, right? Our MC. So how are we going to do this? Okay, could you please share with me? Hello, guys.
Okay, hi, Kelvin.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the participants who have any question, you can type your question in this Slido. Okay.
Yeah.
So later I will ask them to share the screen for the question. Go on.
Okay. So how are we going to do this? Are you going to be asking the questions, or do I read it out from Slido?
Thank you, Mr. Kelvin, for the amazing and interesting talk regarding the current job market outlook for fresh graduates. Now we have arrived at the Q&A session. If you have any questions for the speaker, you may unmute your mic or simply type your question in the Slido. So there are some questions from the participants in the chat box.
All right, cool. So am I just going to go, are you going to read it out, or am I just going to go line by line?
I think you can go by line.
Okay, sure. So first up, is JobStreet similar with LinkedIn? Okay, so I would say JobStreet is a job portal, right? So we have the most jobs in the country that's given, right? And how LinkedIn is different is because LinkedIn is more of a social media platform. So it's gonna be slightly different, yeah. Next up, I can't see. Sorry, the thing is taking up the space. Okay. How Freshgrad want to compete with other working experience candidates, because most of the companies want experienced workers. So actually that's not true. So I'm going to split this to two parts, right? So the first part is that there are companies right now looking for fresh graduates as well. So if you go on to JobStreet, jobstreet.com.my, and if you search fresh graduate, that is where those jobs that are listed are going to be all fresh graduates only, which means you require little to no work experience. So that is what they are looking for. And how are you going to compete with other working candidates? So this is actually a really great question, and this is something that I want to share with you guys. Again, based on research that we've done, we've actually picked the brains of our hirers, and guess what? We found out that a lot of hirers are not only looking at experience as the selecting factor. So the most important thing here is actually soft skills. And this is where every time we tell our students, our candidates, soft skills, your personality is the most important, right? So keep that in mind, because at the end of the day, skills can be taught, experience can be earned, right? But personality, you cannot shape someone at work, right? They are who they are, based on how they bring themselves up, right? So and there's no better way to start than university, right? And again, like I said, right now you all are fresh. Keep that in mind. Personality is the most important factor when getting a job, right? So I hope that answers. If it doesn't, please let me know. I'll be glad to further clarify as well. What is the most important thing for fresh grad to know before entering the industry? So this is a very wide question, very generic question, right? What is the most important thing for fresh grad to know? There are a lot of things that you guys should know of, but I think refer back to my presentation earlier, the top 3 checklists that I've shared with you guys. I think that is the most important thing. So first one is making sure you have the information, right? You know what information that is required to enter that particular job. Second one is to ensure that you have the necessary skills. And third one, of course, to make sure that you are properly informed about the compensation. So compensation is not only about salary, it's also about benefits, right? So you also need to look at what are some of your medical benefits, and those are actually important. A lot of people think, no, that's not important, but those are actually benefits that are actually important to someone who is working for a company as well, right? What is your opinion about artificial intelligence that will replace us? Will we have less job opportunities? Wow. this is a topic that I've shared previously on artificial intelligence. And I think a lot of people are talking about it as well. But my personal opinion is that artificial intelligence is definitely going to be replacing some of our job functions in the future. In fact, it already has today, like some of the customer service oriented jobs are actually now taken over by chatbots and whatnot. But what happens then? So the beauty of being a human, right, is that we are adaptable. Again, like I said, be a sponge, right? Absorb and learn, improvise, and we grow with that, right? So now today, I'm just going to share with you first. Today, artificial intelligence still needs to be taught, right? So you need someone behind there training the program in order to, in order for the program to actually perform well enough. And so when you talk about in the future, maybe artificial intelligence will have self-learning capabilities. I wouldn't doubt that. But at the end of the day, it's all, I would say it's still good because if you look at it, right, maybe just 10 years ago, maybe some of you are not aware, but 10 years ago, if you tell someone, I want to be living on the internet, earning money on the internet, everybody's going to say it's impossible. But guess what? Today, there are loads of people called influencers, called TikTokers. They're earning money just by doing content on the internet. So times will change. And again, there are studies showing that, a lot of school children today who are in high school, right, coming into uni, a lot of them will be working in jobs. I think about 65% of them will be working in jobs that are not available today, which means it will be created in the future. So with the emergence of artificial intelligence, humans will be retrained to take on different roles that will complement it. So artificial intelligence would help us take away all the boring and repetitive tasks, right? So you don't, maybe next time you don't even have data entry jobs anymore because it's so boring, right? It's a brain dead job. Nobody actually enjoys or have fun doing it, but it is just a job. So artificial intelligence might take over that, improve our lives so that we can have more work-life balance, right? And then we are then retrained to do things that are different, right? For example, customer relationship. You can't get a robot to build a relationship with someone else, right? So that is something very important. So I urge you all to not look at artificial intelligence as a threat, but more of an opportunity for you guys to actually really grow into and sort of complement it, right? So next up, is internship program also available at Dropship? Yes, it is. We do hire, but I'm not sure about the current situation right now. I have not seen any interns coming in for the past 3 months. So, but we do have it. If you're interested, let me know. I will send you the link so that you can have a look. But again, it's not always. I mean, we don't have like we don't intake interns by a large amount every year. So it's going to be for specific roles only. How can we apply internship program through Dropship platform? So same thing. You just go to Dropship and search for. Actually, our jobs are listed under Seek Asia. That's SEEK ASIA. So it's under Seek Asia. So you can actually go to Dropship and search for Seek Asia. If there are internship roles there, you can apply there. All right. Can share the useful information slides with our organizer. It helps us a lot. Yes, I will definitely share it. How long does it take to activate my Dropship account? By activating, what do you mean? So there are two things. One is to sign up is actually really fast. So today you even have a one-click sign up with Facebook. So once you click on that, you will straight away create your account. But what you need is to really fill up the information and therefore you need to verify. And verifying takes I think a few minutes at most. So once you click verify, the email will be sent to the verification email will be sent to your email. All you have to do is click on it and it's verified, right? So it's really quick. But do take your time and fill up your Dropship account. You know, it's gonna be worth it for you all, right? So any more questions? I think that's is that the end? So if you don't have or rather if you can't think of a question right now, that's fine. But if you do have a question in the future that you want to reach out to us, again, if you look on my what do you call this background picture, right? So we are on social media channels, so you can reach out to us on Facebook, on Instagram, ask questions. We'll be happy to answer it as well, right? So I'll be monitoring those channels as well. So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, you need any tips, any guides, feel free to reach out. I think you can even reach out to the organizers of eNAPSIS, and they would then be able to reach out to me as well. So I'll be happy to answer all of your questions. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Kelvin. This is the end of our Q&A session. I believe that everyone got a lot of meaningful insights from what Mr. Kelvin has shared to us today. I hope that this will be helpful for each participant to prepare themselves from the upcoming challenges. Thank you again, Mr. Kelvin, and everyone for your full attention during this slot. Don't forget to join our next session, Business Model Canvas Final Challenge, on this Friday, 13th November 2020 at 9 a.m.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.